Hi folks, Marc Bashoor here. You are undoubtedly inundated with vendors and different people trying to sell you the latest and greatest of whatever tool it is. Whether that's an extinguishing system for electric vehicle fires, whether it is battery systems for your own extrication tools or fans or your SCBA, whatever it is, you're inundated with these processes. In this special series coverage, Making the Cut, Fire Rescue One is going to help you look at what all those options are out there. In this video, we're going to look a little bit at the higher level of what you need to do to make sure you're making the right decisions.
You know, there was a time when this compartment or a place for these tools was the most important thing on your fire truck. And in some cases, that could still be said. But this is a different day. Now, those tools were on this fire truck, but also on this fire truck. It's important for us to look at what a fire truck today really has to deal with and what that means for you purchasing equipment. So on this particular fire truck, we're talking about batteries for SCBA. We're talking about rechargeable flashlights. We're talking about portables for each position that have rechargeable batteries on them. We're talking about a thermal imager up there that has a rechargeable battery. We're talking about air monitoring systems that have rechargeable batteries. Then, and I go back to the 42 years ago, I had to worry about hydraulic pumps and systems and decide where we were going to put those things for rescue tools, because that was the only things we had were hydraulic systems. Now, everything's battery operated. This particular one has its own charging system right here on the fire truck with the batteries, the portable batteries that they charge on site for the tools that don't have to worry about hydraulic cable systems or anything like that. And then right next to it, another charging system for regular hand tools. And one thing I want to show you, it's important for you to look for that UL listing when you're looking at these types of systems. Too many of these things come to us from knockoffs or they're damaged goods or something to that effect. We need to make sure that the research and the science has been behind what it is that we're putting on the fire trucks. So on this particular fire engine, there are 6 different replaceable battery systems, each charging and operating something differently, each using a different charging system. Sure, I'd love for everything to be compatible, but there's always going to be the proprietary differences that we as firefighters cannot deal with here on the interim floor. We need to make sure that we're getting the job done, and that's not going to involve the processes that go behind these manufacturer issues. So make sure that you've done your due diligence from a design perspective, that when folks are designing your engine for all of the different things that you're going to carry, whether it's battery, whether it's electric, whether it's hydraulically driven, whatever it is, that it's designed with that space and that mission in mind. At the end of the day, the mission is what matters. You're not going to be able to be everything to everybody. We need to make sure that we're using our minds and our business sense to be able to use the processes, the vendors, the purchasing contracts, and all those different things that matter to be able to get the right tools in the right place, to be able to do the right things at the right times. And it's not just rescue tools that we're dealing with. This particular fire truck and a lot of folks now have the battery-powered fans. A different battery, a different charging system. Again, remember to look for that UL listing on these systems. You know, we saw a lot of tools there, a lot of different battery systems, a lot of different things on just a standard fire truck that somebody had to come and sell to the organization. We've got to make sure that we're dealing with the right people, dealing with people that not only are part of our vendor networks, but dealing with people who have been vetted through some process. Maybe they're part of a collaborative that has purchasing power that your organization allows you to purchase through. Maybe there's somebody that a neighboring organization, a neighboring department has had good luck with or has had good business with. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that you're doing the due diligence that you need to do to make sure that you're getting the right tools for what you need to be done. So now I want to take you back to that all-important compartment that I was talking about in the beginning. This one here, the tools of my day. The axe, the Halligan, Clemens, those were the tools that were most important to me at the time. Today you were presented with so much more, not only opportunity, but complexity. Making sure that you vet that complexity through vendors, through lists of reputable folks that not only make these things, but that deal in the products and they give you some assurance of compatibility amongst products. Sure, there's going to be some things that you've got to deal with that are proprietary to this or to that.
And folks, that compatibility stretches beyond just battery systems and tools themselves. We need to make sure that what we're purchasing is compatible with our mission. Remember that mission matters. We've got to make sure that we're setting our firefighters up to be successful. And we're only going to do that through the use of processes and through the use of reputable vendors that can get us the right equipment to be able to allow us to do our jobs. Well, folks, that's all we have time for today. I appreciate you joining me. I hope the Making the Cut special series coverage here on FireRescue1.com gives you some good information, and we'll talk to you next time. This is Marc Bashoor, Executive Editor for FireRescue1.com.